Hey, so in this continuing experiment of the Rockman ramblings, I just thought I'd come on and discuss something more in detail, I guess. So, I'm nobody special. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist. I'm not a sports scientist or any of those things. So, I'm not an authority on any of the things that I'm talking about. But with that being said, I have been a lifelong student of fitness, um, health, nutrition. I was a certified personal trainer for 20 years. Um, and in my experience, from my mid 20s until now, at 59, almost 60, I have practiced the art or the skill of fitness, um, and creating for me a healthy body. Does that make me an expert? Not necessarily. However, I've been very consistent with it, and here I am, coming into 60 in September. I'll be 60 years old. So I may not be an authority, but I am well experienced in the things that I talk about. I'm forever a student, always learning and always educating myself, always staying up to date on things that are effective and relevant. So, in our previous conversations, I've discussed motivation and discipline, what stops you from starting, minimalist fitness, and how to incorporate that. But let's go back to what stops you from starting, and let's give you an actual skill set or or um, or an actionable process that you can start now to help you get started on your fitness journey. So, um, first thing, we have a perception of who we are and who other people think we are, and we're comfortable with that. It's maybe we're not comfortable with it, we're familiar with it. So we try to live our life in the bounds of that familiarity. So if we're not familiar with health, nutrition, fitness, it's not a part of our daily thought process or our life, even though we tell ourselves, I need to get started. I want to be fit. I know I need to start doing something. Um, but, and then all the excuses come or the reasons why you don't get started. A lot of is because of that perception. You don't want to be judged. You're afraid of failing, um, afraid of not fitting in or being accepted by the current group of people that you surround yourself with. And there's so much more. I mean, that's a deep psychological dive. And the reason a lot of people don't make permanent changes is because you never get to the root causes of why you don't do things or why you don't keep doing things. And we're all victims of it. I have aspects of my life that I'm not consistent with, that I could improve in, but I'm stuck in my familiarity of those circumstances. So that cycle continues. So let's just start with the basics. How do you get started? And it doesn't start with motivation. So a lot of people say it starts with motivation. That's an emotional feeling, that something that inspires you and you get started. And yes, that can be the spark. But what actually makes things happen and start is discipline. People hate that word discipline because it sounds like willpower, like you're drumming up the willpower to make yourself do something positive. And it's not about having this overbearing strength of will. Discipline is just a habit, right? And that habit, if you find a way to continue it, that's discipline, right? Discipline is setting aside immediate gratification, immediate dopamine hit to put that down the road so future self benefits, and future self can reflect back on your present self, so it would be your past self, and feel gratitude that you took the time to make those changes so that future self benefits. So it's setting yourself up for future you, okay? So the you that you would like to be, but you don't know how to get there, you don't know how to start. So start by doing something now that future you will be grateful for. Let's start with the most basic. So it's starting a habit. Let's pick one. Okay, we'll start with one habit. And this is something that you can take action on right now that will benefit future you, and future you will thank you. And then that future you will start doing things to benefit future you again, right? And it's a continuing cycle of benefiting future you. So let's start with the most basic habit, walking, right? So start going for a walk after every meal, okay? And just do that every day. It can start off a mild walk, and you want to keep it mild. You don't want to go fast. It's not about speed walk, getting sweaty. It's just about getting moving, right? What do we usually do after we eat? We sit down, right? Or in the morning, you're running off to work. But lunchtime, you eat, right? And then around 2 or 3, you get sluggish. You're sitting back down at your desk or whatever you're doing. Again, depending on your type of work. Or dinner time. You have dinner, you sit down, you put on the TV, or you start scrolling on your cell phone, right? You're scrolling through the internet. That's all immediate gratification, right? That dopamine hit is right then and there. You sit down and you start scrolling, you start watching something that gives you that dopamine hit, so that you're enjoying that now. But future you might not be so happy with it because your digestion didn't go as well because you're sitting down and doing nothing to help promote digestion. So in future you would appreciate if you would get up and just go for a walk. Start off with a 10-minute walk, then it could go to a 20-minute walk, 30-minute walk, and so on and so forth. So start that with one meal, and then start that with every meal. Lunchtime at work, if you have a sedentary job, get up and go for a walk after you eat. Go for a walk every hour that you've been sitting doing nothing. Go for a walk after dinner. Help spark digestion. That's something you can take action on right now. And then in a week or 2 from now, once that becomes a habit, add something else to your day. And we won't cover that right now. We'll just stick with the walk. And just start doing that for a week or 2. Make that a habit. Then it becomes a discipline, something that you just naturally do all the time now after you eat. So you can do that with everything. Just pick one thing, establish it as a habit, and once it becomes the habit, the discipline, then you stack something else on top of it. So, like I said, we were not going to go any deeper into it, but what about the next thing? Set yourself, like, say, push-ups, right? Push-ups, wall push-ups if you can't do regular push-ups. And say you're going to do, 50 push-ups throughout the day. Not all at once. Go up against the wall, do 10 push-ups. Now you have 5 more times of 10 push-ups throughout the day. And then you establish that. And then eventually those 10 push-ups each time becomes 15 push-ups, and then 20 push-ups, then 25. So now your goal becomes maybe 100 push-ups a day, right? It's 25 push-ups 4 times a day. Now you're doing 100 push-ups. And you keep growing on that. So pick a day, and then add another day in there. So you have push-ups one day, squats the next day. So, and keep growing on that. But establish it as a habit, right? As far as a dietary habit, I'll give you one actionable thing now. If you drink pop soda, we call it pop here, in Western New York. So if you drink pop or energy drinks, every time you have an a soda or an energy drink, make sure you drink a full glass of water after each time. Okay, instead of going for another soda or energy drink, have a water instead. And then every other drink becomes maybe once a day soda, and the rest of your drinks are water, right? So eventually slowly start cutting things out and making it a habit. That one habit right there will save you so much in empty calorie intake and detrimental chemicals that you're putting into your body, and replacing it with water. So let's start there and move forward with your dietary changes, right? So those are two, possibly three actionable things that you can start right now to change your future health and then build upon it later. All right, I hope that helps. I know this one was a little bit longer than normal, but I wanted to get into a little more detail about it. So I hope that helps you. Drop it down in the comments at some point if you decide to take action on these things, or in a week or so, come back to this, drop your comment and tell me how it's benefited you, or what your next step might be. I'd be happy to share that with you, what you can do to keep building on it. So God bless you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay healthy.